All right, the next part of this lesson is on benchmarks. So when we're talking about a benchmark, we're using 1/2. I mean, there's lots of benchmarks, but 1/2 is one that we'll start with. So if you have, again, a pizza, and you're going to take 1/2 of it, you are getting one piece out of the 2 possible pieces. You're taking a half. So when we think of benchmarks, and I have another number that I want to compare it to, let's say I want to know, is 1/2 greater than, less than, or equal to 2/4? So I'll put a circle, and then we're going to write 2/4. When we do benchmarks, there are ways you can do common denominators and do a lot of calculations, but for this lesson, I want you to really just think of how the numerator and the denominator are related just by thinking about it. So going back to a pizza, the numerator is going to be half of the denominator, and that's really what it means to have 1/2. So without doing any calculations, I can just look at this and say, is 2 half of 4? Yes, it is. If I had 4 pieces of pizza and I took 2 of them, I would be taking half of the pizza. So in this case, 1/2 and 2/4 are equivalent. What if I had 1/2 and I want to know, is it equal to, greater than, or less than 3/4? So without doing any calculations, I just want to think about it. If I had a pizza that was cut into 4 pieces and I took 3 of the pieces, am I taking half of the pizza, more than half, or less than half? Well, if I took 2 pieces, that would be half. So I'm taking more than half of the pizza. So in this case, 3/4 is greater than 1/2. How about when you don't have a 1/2 and you're just comparing 2 other fractions? Let's say we had 2/6 compared to 5/8. And I want to know which one is greater, less than, or equal to. So again, I think of it like this. Well, what is half of 6? 3. Is 2 going to be half or less than half? This one is going to be less than half. So I keep that in my head. It's less than half. I come over here. What would be half of 8? 4 would be half of 8. So is 5 greater than, less than, or equal to 4? Well, it's greater. That means that this whole fraction is more than 1/2. So this was less than a half. That was more than a half. So I can put my inequality like this. Let's do one more, or a couple more. Let's do, what if we had 11/12? And I want to know, is that greater than, less than, or equal to 4/8? Okay. These should pop out at you right away. As soon as you see something, you're like, oh, I know immediately this is going to be easy because 4 is half of 8. This is exactly 1/2. And then I come over here and I know what half of 12 is. That would be 6. And 11 is super close to 12. This is like getting almost the entire pizza. So I love going back to pizza. It makes it so easy to visualize what this is talking about in a way. So if I have 12 pieces of pizza and I get to eat 11 of them, that's nearly the entire amount. So that's a lot more than half. And this one is exactly half. So this one is going to be greater than. What if I had 5/8? We'll do 2 more. And you can pause it and always try it on your own and then watch the rest. So 5/8 and 9/10. Which one is greater? So again, using a numerator and denominator makes it super easy. So I have a pizza that's 8 pieces. I'm taking 5 of them. That's more than half because 4 would be exactly half. So this is more than half. Here, I have a pizza that's 10 pieces. 9 is also more than half. So now, what do we do in this case? They're both more than half. So I can still just think about it. Which one is closer to the whole amount? Well, here, I'm only 1 piece away from having all of it. And here, I'm 3 pieces away from having all of it. And at this point, it's okay to kind of make your best judgment. You don't have to actually calculate it specifically, which one is more than or less than. But just by looking at it, you can tell that this one is going to be closer to a whole, greater than this. All right, and last one, 1/2 greater than, less than, or equal to 4/6. So again, what is half of 6? It would be 3. So 4 is going to be greater than that, greater than 1/2.